I think somebody need to make me a jingle or something, right? Somebody need to make me a jingle, right? I need a jingle. Somebody need a jingle. I'm so grateful for all of you. I should be able to sing too. I should be able to do that. I'm so excited. Let me tell you, it's so much even in the world, in the state that it is in. Even with all the craziness that I've read about mandatory vaccinations and technocracy and artificial intelligence, and they're going to try to rule the world and martial law and all this, even in the midst of that, life is good.
Life is good.
Life is amazing. And I thought I was going to talk to y'all about colors of the rainbow of food and all that kind of stuff. And then I was digging something out. And then, of course, what happened?
Swerve.
The swerve. So this is actually going to turn into a 10-day thing that I'm going to do. So what happened was I was reading through some of my notes, and I came across my old book group notes from when I started my book group in 2010. And it was all about Lisa Nichols, right? And she wrote a book called No Matter What. And when I was going through my divorce, I got this book. I don't know how I got the book. I can't even tell you from that day to this how I got it. But whatever happened, I started reading it and I started saying, oh my God, I can't be the only woman who feels like this. And so I decided that I was going to start a meetup group. And it started with me and 3 other women. So 4 of us. And that group grew from 4 women to now over 300 and something in 2 states. In 2 states. It's in Atlanta and it's in Philadelphia. And so it made me pick it up again and say, okay, we could talk about this. So, when she talks about, no matter what, the biggest thing is to develop what she calls your bounce back muscles, right? Your bounce back muscles that she talks about are not your triceps or your biceps. These are muscles that when they are fully developed, that you'll be able to live the life you want. You'll probably think, and so we're not talking about the things that you develop in the gym. We're talking about these muscles that you develop by going through life. And she identifies them as the understanding muscle, the faith in myself muscle, the take action muscle, the I know like I know muscle, the honesty muscle, the say yes muscle, the determination muscle, the forgiveness muscle, and the highest choice muscle. So I'm like, I need to share these muscles with my family. So today I'm going to talk about the understanding muscle, and I'm going to figure out a time for the rest of the week where I'm just going to just do a live and do all of the muscles throughout the week. So if you want to follow along, I'll tell you what it's going to be or what day it's going to be. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. I'm just not sure what time, whether I'm going to do it at noon or whatever, but whatever, you'll be able to see the replay whatever time I do it, so don't stress about that. And so what she talks about in the book too is, there's some things that she calls inspired action steps, and I'm going to give you some inspired action steps that we're going to do together today. So inspired action steps are really vital in your personal development and building these bounce back muscles that she talks about. And that's going to be like journaling. That's going to be like practicing mirror work, doing exercises like affirmations, creating dialogues for yourself, sharing experiences and breakthroughs with an accountability buddy. And then completing the self-work assignments to help you push through these old limitations. The other thing that she talks about is the I'm not alone questions that she says. And, if you ever seen her in live or watched any of her videos, she say, if that's you, raise 1 hand, right? She said, if that's really you, raise 2 hands. And then she said, if that's really, really you, and you say that's really just push my buttons, you're going to raise one hand, two hand, and stand up because that's you, right? And so in the book, she just says, write one check if it's you, two checks if it's really you, and three checks if it's really just totally dead on. So just keep note of that as we are talking about, the things going forward. So, there's so many people in the world, right? And a lot of them, especially in this moment, even the successful, they feel disconnected and alone. And now during this pandemic, we are truly disconnected and alone. And we really crave connection, right? With cell phones and iPads and laptops and all that, we've become accustomed to being around and in each other's social spaces, but we're with each other, but not with each other, if that makes sense. Because we're not really talking to each other. We're talking on social platforms, or we may be talking during, over text message. But when was the last time you picked up the phone and say, hey girl, hey bro, what's happening? What you got going on? We don't do that. We do not pick up the phone. Before you pick up the phone, what you do? Send a text message. We do. I noticed that even about myself, that I will shoot a text before I go through calling somebody. And even when you do actually pick the phone and call somebody, it's like, hello? And they're like surprised to hear your voice, that you actually picked up the phone and called them. So, so we're going to talk about building our understanding muscle today. So have your pencil and your paper ready, because this is going to be some work we're going to get to do. Okay. So sometimes we have these feelings that we just don't fit in, that we're different somehow, that we're not good enough. And this is one of those things. Check one, if you can relate. Two checks if you had that experience often, and three checks if you feel as if this has been the whole story of your life. We want to really unpack these victim bags. We pack those Gucci bags full of coulda, shoulda, woulda, and why did this happen and why did that happen? And unconsciously, we begin to drag these bags along with us. And then with every new situation, we open those bags up with old issues and past experiences to interrupt our current flow, right? We use them to avoid taking new risks. They become our permission slips to play it safe, which really can mean just to stay stuck. We really just stay stuck. And it's so not fair. It's so not fair to your life and the people that are in life with you, that are doing life with you. Because here you are pulling out this victim bag of what you experienced some time ago. And because of those old experiences, you bring that up and you spew that stuff on somebody new. And they not even in a fair fight because they don't even know what they're fighting about. Is that you? You doing that? Because people do it. So have you ever looked around at your life and realized that you've been playing really small, avoiding taking risks because of something that happened to you way back when? Now I can't do that because the last time I did that, this is what happened. Can't do it like that, right? Can't drag that stuff with you, right? Are you holding on to anger, hurt, and sadness, dragging that with you wherever you go without even consciously knowing that you're doing it? One check, two checks, three checks. Which one? Lisa says some gifts come wrapped in sandpaper. And we know that. We've talked about that in my own life. And that's probably, when I heard my mother say what she said about losing my father, that was a gift wrapped in sandpaper. And that just means that it's a gift in there somewhere, but the sandpaper is on it. So it's going to be rough on the outside before you really can see what's happening on the inside. And what my mom said when my dad passed, she said, one, we're going to be okay. And two, he wouldn't have left us if he had a choice. And 3, we just have to find a new normal. And so we had to find a new normal. And then last thing she said was, because he died suddenly, she said that was such a gift. And she was so grateful. And I'm really just listening to her, looking upside her head, saying, is she crazy? Did she just see that our dad just died? And she's saying all this stuff. And so she said he would have never wanted to be sick in a hospital with a long-term illness. So this was the best way if he had to go. It was a gift wrapped in sandpaper. Truly a gift wrapped in sandpaper. And knowing my father, the giant that he was, my dad was 6'4", 200 pounds, an amazing provider. And it would have been no way that he would have wanted somebody to have to help him brush his teeth or wash himself or any of that stuff. So that is an example of a gift wrapped in sandpaper. So think about things that, you know, you could have done that or experienced that are gifts wrapped in sandpaper. What are they for you, right? And so by developing this understanding muscle, you'll find the benefit in every situation. And guess what? You will stop suffering sooner. Stop suffering sooner, quicker, faster. You'll be the shift from why me to more empowering questions to place in a position of power over the outcome, like, what is the lesson in this moment? How can I grow from this for a better and stronger on the other side of this experience? So I can be better and stronger on the other side of this experience. And if it's not your first time in the situation, a strong understanding muscle will prompt you to ask, what am I repeatedly doing or thinking that keeps bringing me to this place? And how can I be proactive in the future to avoid this circumstance? So when you are developing this understanding muscle, you work the muscle by 1, searching for the gift in each circumstance. 2, by looking outside of the immediate situation to see the bigger picture. And then 3, going into your heart to find compassion. And 4, putting yourself in the other person's shoes. That will absolutely stop a screaming match in its path. And understanding that an inner emotional shift that brings about huge returns in the external world. So it frees you from anger and pain and allows you to move through life with more energy, purpose, and joy, no matter what, right? So, inspire action step. Get your pencil and your paper out. So this is your inspire action step, right? You want to write down 2 to 4 experiences from your past that has caused a great deal of pain and still cause you to wonder why it happened to you. 2 to 4 experiences. You got a minute. And I'm going to keep talking while you're writing it. You know, when you think about experiences in the past that have caused you a great deal of pain, and still, you know, you're thinking about, you know, why it happened to you, who did what, and all this kind of stuff. You know, you want to, you know, be mindful, you know, that this thing is constantly running and keeping you from living because you're stuck in the past. And so I want you to identify at least 2 experiences. You don't have to write them out in detail in this moment, just 2 to 4 experiences that you have experienced in the past that, you know, you still are hurting from. And really, you really want to let it go. You really want to say goodbye to that situation. Thank you, Mama Burnell on 15th Street for my flower. I like when people send me flowers. See, she made it for me. Mama is 80 years old, and she made me a white one and a red one. So I like that. So yeah. So I'm going to give you a second to write down those experiences. And I'm going to respond to someone online. So yeah. 2 to 4 experiences from your past that has caused you a great deal of pain, and still you're asking, why did it happen to me? So when you keep asking why, you're really captive to the experience and a victim to it. After you write down the experience, write down why in big letters. Write down why in big letters. Now answer each why with honesty and compassion in a way that honors the truth and honors you. This will help you to claim the power over the situation. You can be the victim or the victor. The choice is yours. And when you're writing down your why answers, don't make anything or anybody wrong in your answers. Because we want to claim the power over the situation. We don't want to, that's good, Laverne. You don't want to make anything negative about it. And that's the way that you gain the power. You gain the power by saying, or taking responsibility or being understanding of the other person, putting them in a position of power as well. I tell people all the time when they tell me that someone has hurt them, I say, first of all, you allowed yourself to be hurt because you exposed yourself to whatever it is. So if somebody tells you something or says something, that's their opinion of you. And that's really not your business, no matter what they are spewing at you in the moment, right? We then pick up everything they said, and then we internalize it and make it ours. You literally can stop it right here. When they saying whatever they saying, you can put your shields up and block it because you don't agree. It's not true. Instead of screaming and hollering and saying, no, that's not true. Well, you, and you could just block it. Let them have their say. And it takes two people to argue. And when one person is not participating, guess what? The argument is over. It's over. So as you are writing the answers to your why, answer it in a positive way that values you and the person. The other thing that I say to my clients when somebody is telling me about when they singing the "Somebody Done Me Wrong" song is we sometimes will accept this stuff, but don't make it yours. It's not yours. You can choose to not make it yours. It belongs to them. And it's their opinion. And what they say about opinions, everybody got one. Everybody got one. And people will have opinions about you from now to the day that you leave here. And even after you leave here, they still gonna be talking about you. Which that's a good thing. So yeah, just write it out in as positive as you possibly can. And the other thing that we have to realize is that these people that are in our lives that we love, they love us too. They really, really do. And if they really, really knew if they knew in the depths of their soul how much pain and hurt they were causing you, they would not do it. They just don't know. They don't know because they do love you. And sometimes they think by sharing these thoughts that is helpful. You know, sharing your thoughts about one thing, a person in love is one thing, but talking about and talking to you in a mean and negative way is not helpful to anybody. Because especially in a screaming match, because you're screaming, they're screaming, everybody's screaming to be heard, but no one is listening. Okay? So now that you have your answers, think of something in your life that you are dealing with right now that has you unsettled. Now, I want you to find 3 reasons why this situation may actually be wrapped in sandpaper. And we don't have our mirrors on our desk. But when we are done this class, I want you to, you can write the questions down now, but I want you to look in the mirror, into your own eyes, into your own soul, and ask yourself these following questions about that situation. What am I learning? In that same tone too, because you want to be gentle with yourself. What am I learning from this situation that has me unsettled? From this situation that has you unsettled, what am I learning? How is my understanding muscle being built through this situation? And how will I be a better person on the other side of this opportunity for me to grow? Tell me how. So again, those questions are, what am I learning? How is my understanding muscle being built? And giving me an opportunity to grow through this situation. Now, be patient with yourself when you're doing this work, right? Let the words flow without censoring them. You may even want to use the voice record on your phone. And if you take the time and commit to doing this for 21 days, what you think is going to happen in 21 days? For every unsettling question you ask, every unsettling situation that you ask yourself, what am I learning? How is my understanding muscle being built through this situation? How will I be a better person on the other side of this opportunity for me to grow? And if you let the words flow without censoring them, and you are patient with yourself, and you do it for 21 days, absolutely, Deidre Lynn, a habit will be created. And the habit will be seeing the blessing in every situation. And I have to admit that I have learned that. I have learned that unequivocally about everything. You know, my mom just passed in August, and I said, part of the reason I came back to my hometown was because of my mom. So she has now moved on, has passed on, and that now frees me to do a number of things. So there's some gifts wrapped in sandpaper. And the gift in that is I could go move someplace warm because it is cold in Philadelphia. Okay. Now, the next part is it's never too late to change your response, right? The people in our lives, right? They're going to say what they say and they're going to do what they do. But we sometimes forget that our joy and peace of mind are not determined by others' words and actions, but how we choose to respond to them. So, in any hurtful situation, right, it's common to react in a way that at the end you feel damaged, bad, wrong, or guilty, right? Our power lies in recognizing that in each new moment, we have the opportunity to make a new choice, a choice that will inspire us and leave us feeling powerful instead of powerless. So, think of a situation in your life, right, where you can now see that if you responded differently, things would have turned out a great deal better for you. Now, keep the situation in mind. Now, imagine the other person speaking, acting the same way he or she did in the real scenario, right? But envision yourself choosing another response, one that would have shifted the entire experience. For example, could you have taken a few deep breaths, thought through your words, and showed more responsibility for the words that came out of your mouth? Could you have seen a past moment of anger inside and found more compassion for how hurt the other person was or how misdirected his or her actions were? Can you now see a different outcome based on your choice to respond in a new way? Now, by taking that situation and revamping it in your mind, this now sets you up for a more powerful response in future situations. So when something comes up and somebody is speaking or acting um, in a way that they shouldn't, right? What you want to do is you want to first take a couple of deep breaths, right? Think about the thoughts that are coming up and how you want to word them before you say anything. And then when you do say something, you want to show compassion for the person who is speaking or yelling or whatever, and how hurt they might be, even if it's misdirected and shouldn't be towards you. You want to give them the opportunity, give them the opportunity to voice whatever it is that they're voicing, whether you agree or not. You just want to be in love because you want to give them the opportunity to say whatever you're saying. You ever notice sometimes people, when somebody is arguing, then you bring up everything that you was mad about for the last month and kind of redirect the argument against whatever it is that they were talking about. Now you talking about it. Now y'all both got stuff. And at the end of the day, nothing gets done. We don't want to do that. You want to take those deep breaths, think about your thoughts before you respond, and then respond with compassion and love, even if you know that you're not the right person that this stuff is supposed to be directed to. People have a tendency to direct their anger towards the people who are closest to them. Yes, Desmond, we cannot fly off the handle. People do. And flying off, first of all, being angry and screaming and hollering drops your immune system. It drops your immune system instantly. So now you're susceptible to corona and flu and colds and all kinds of things. So you done dropped your immune system by yelling and screaming, right? Secondly, it raises your blood pressure. And if you already got blood pressure problem, you don't need to raise your blood pressure because, somebody say, you're going to bust a blood vessel. That's a true thing. that you can get so angry that you can break blood vessels in your head, in your brain, that you can cause yourself to have a heart attack. So many things can happen by being overly angry. So just know that there's nothing in the world worth being that angry for. Nothing. Nothing. Not for material things, not for people making mistakes, not for people thinking that what they're doing is the right thing, but you don't agree. Nothing in the world is worth that, especially not towards people that we truly, truly love and care about. Not your child, not your spouse, not your sibling, not your mother, not your father. These are love connections. These are your people. And so you don't want to hurt your people. You don't want to say words that you can't take back. You can apologize for them later, but it won't be the same. And so if you don't want to risk that, take those few deep breaths. Girl, boy, oh, these kids. You want to take those deep breaths before you respond or before you act. Okay? So that's your next tool that you have. The next thing is you don't want to try to supersize another person. You can't control others' capacities to give, to love, to understand, except that they are doing the best they can and honor what they're able to do rather than complain about what they're not doing. So now I'm going to give you some help. I'm going to show you how to transform a relationship. You know how you do that? Transform yourself. Transform yourself. So, all right, get another blank piece of paper out. And so at the top of the paper, I want you to write the name of a person on a piece of paper. Somebody that you love, want to love better, somebody that is difficult to love. Write their name down on a piece of paper. This could be a sibling, it could be a spouse, it could be a child, whatever. I did it for every person in my life. And you can do it for every person in your life. Matter of fact, put it in a book and let them read it when you're gone. So write their name on a piece of paper, right? Divide the paper into 4 sections, right? And the first section, you're going to title it, What I Love About You, right? Then write what you love about that person. I love the way you make my eggs. I love the way you wash my clothes. I love the way you work for our family. I love the way you keep our cars clean. I love the way you hug me, kiss me. I love the way you take care of me. All of the positive things that you could think of about that person. I love the way you do this. I love the way you do that. Hey, Tamara Ray, I'm glad. I love the way you do all of that. So that's what you're going to write. Everything you love. Now, you're not going to think about none of the negative stuff right now. Just everything you love about that person. Even a person that gets on your nerves the most. Everything you love about that person. I love the way you love our children. I love the way you take care of our children. I love the way you care for your mother. I love the way you have an amazing relationship with your sister. Whatever you love, just write all of that down. Just dump it. I love, right? And when you start these sentences, I want you to start them with what I love about you, because that's going to really set the intention and the tone for each thing that you say after that. What I love about you is how you take care of our children. What I love about you is how you care for our home. What I love about you is how you provide for us. What I love about you is how you make my eggs. What I love about you, and just what I love about you, what I love about you, what I love about you, what I love about you. I should be able to sing. I want to be able to sing. What I love about you. What I love about you. What I love about you. Okay? So that's the first sentence. The second one is write what I choose to embrace about you. And list all the things that might be challenging for you that you would like to accept and love. And begin each sentence with I choose to embrace. I choose to embrace. And write down anything that you have previously resisted and wished, silently or out loud, that you could change about this person. So you can say something like, what I choose to embrace about you is you don't put your clothes in the laundry basket. What I choose to embrace about you is you leave the toilet seat up. What I choose to embrace about you is you snore. What I choose to embrace about you is that habit you got that I don't like. What I choose to embrace. What I choose to embrace. Just say what you choose to embrace, whatever that is. In the third section, it's about to get deep, y'all. What I would miss about you. So list all the specific experiences that you would miss if that person were not in your life. And begin each sentence with, I would miss. And some of these things could be the same as what you love about that person too. I would miss the way you make my eggs. I would miss the way you care for our kids. I would miss the way you hug me. I would miss the way you love me. I would miss the way you provide for our family. I would miss all of those things. Ooh, would you miss it? How much would you miss it? How much would you miss him, her, the kids, your sister, your mother, your brother, your father? What would you miss? What would you miss? When you start thinking about what you would miss, the things you choose to embrace don't seem to mean that much, do it? It's getting real powerful, right? And in the last section, I want you to write what I want you to remember about our relationship. And here is where you begin with the end in mind, writing down your vision for your relationship going forward. So start each sentence with, excuse me, what I want you to remember about me or us is. What I want you to remember about me or us is. And remember, you're not reaching back, mentioning things that were already done, but you're stretching forward and declaring the relationship that you are creating as well. And this is a good exercise to use for anybody who may have passed on before you were able to come to peace with the relationship with him or her. Just modify the sentence and say, what I choose to remember about our relationship. And so, what is it I want you to remember about our relationship? What I want you to remember about me, what I want you to remember about us is. What is it? I want you to remember that we took great walks together if you want to start walking together. I want you to remember how much fun it was to exercise together. We're going to exercise together, right? I want you to remember how amazing it was for us to sit and have alone time together, reading a book or watching TV together or having dinner together or whatever it is that you want to do in the future with the person. I want you to remember how amazing Sisters Night is, Sisters Weekend, whatever it is. We want to remember that. or that's what we want. Those are the memories we want to create. Now that you've written these things out, you want to review the entire sheet. Look at what you love about the person, what you're willing to embrace about the person, what you would miss if they were gone, and what you want this person to remember about you and your relationship. This exercise will help you to fully accept people in your life by giving you a valuable sense of purpose, enabling you to move past the small challenges that you consider huge. And then you can take these same 4 things and do it for each person in your life. Every single person. I sure have. And I think by doing that, that is where the power lies. By taking the time out to really embrace these things, these 4 questions around each person, that helps to build this understanding muscle so that you understand better situations, circumstances, things that come up, finding the gifts that are wrapped in the sandpaper. There are so many gifts that we get every single day, but we're so busy distracted by the sandpaper that we can't see the gift that's inside. Some people are gifts wrapped in sandpaper. Some people come off so abrasive, but at the end of the day, we know that they love us. They just don't know how to say it or express it. And so give them the same grace that we ask God for every single day for ourselves. You want to give it to that person and know that they just are who they are. It is not a reflection of you. That's just them. And so by taking the time out to do this, it will help you recognize each and everything about that person. Everything that you embrace that you may not really like, and the things that you love about that person, and the things that you would like to see happen in the future with you and that person. So is that helpful? Where's Mr. Satchel? I don't see him. Hey, Deidre. Click the buttons. Click the buttons.
OMG, OMG, OMG. Jesus. You know.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
I'm listening.
Me and you was talking yesterday, right?
Yep. We was talking.
And you said after we got off this phone yesterday, and you picked up the phone and you just started calling people. And you started naming those.
Yep.
And you started naming these people out. And I said, and it's just like, they love you.
Yes.
They love you.
Yes.
And you gotta say, I don't know what happened, but you gotta let it go. Let it go. Release this whole thing, right?
Yes. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what happened to me real quick. My girlfriend, I've been knowing her since 2nd grade. I got married at the Justice of the Peace in 1983. She was the only person that was there. My mother, my father, and my best girlfriend. In 2016, she lent me some money, right?
Yeah.
I paid her back the money, and she said, well, you said you was going to have it back in a month, and it took you 6 weeks, so you owe me interest because I took out a loan to give you the money. I said, oh, you didn't tell me that you took out a loan, but okay, just send me the paperwork so I'll see what you got me into, and I'll take care of it. She's like, I'm not sending you that. Just send me the money. I was like, girl, you got me messed up. I'm not sending you. She wanted me to she lent me $175, and she wanted me to send her another $300 for interest.
What?
Yes. She was definitely going through something at the time. And it hurt my feelings. And then I was like, I'm not messing with her because that's the way you're going to do me. And I'm your friend. I've been your friend since the 2nd grade. And you're going to try to do that to me? Girl, bye. Well, I didn't speak to her. 2017, 2018, 2019, she had surgery. And the complications of the surgery left her on life support. Her family called me up and said, we know that you will want us to call you. And we know that she would probably want you here too. So I got on the first thing smoking and got to Atlanta. And I was there for the last 24 hours of her life. Stood by her bedside, holding her hand, telling her how sorry I was for the time that we wasted over money. And that's something I can't get back. And I feel so terrible about it because it was very juvenile and something that we should have talked about it even more. If it really bothered me that much, we should have talked about it. We definitely shouldn't have let 2 years go by and not talk.
Wow.
She talked to everybody around me, asking about me, and I talked to everybody around her, asking about her. But we never called each other. And now I'll never get that opportunity to do that again. Wow. And that was a very big, hard, disgusting lesson. So if there are people like that in your life, don't do that. Call them, fix it. Because I can tell you that my heart still aches because of it.
Yeah.
It still aches because of it. And so, that's why we can't allow these things. We have to know that we're all human beings, human doers. And sometimes we think wrong, we do wrong to people that we love and we care for and all that. And sometimes we just gotta say we sorry, or sometimes we could just say, listen, I don't know what happened, but it's dumb. I'm sorry. I love you. I don't know what happened. Listen, you could say it just like that. I don't know what's happened. It's dumb. I love you.
Yes.
It's dumb. Yes. It's dumb. I love you. It's dumb.
I just want to say this. Watch this. I said, you started off this call just earlier. You said we have these muscles.
Yes.
And, I never thought of it I'm like, okay, where that muscle at?
These are your personal development muscles.
Right? Just do it. But I'm just like, but when you said it, and it just gives you a whole different, it's like these are tools. So instead of just saying woosah, you can ask yourself, okay, what's the storyline here? Where is the positivity at? At the end, you have these things. So me and Lynn I'm just sitting here with Lynn and asking her these questions. And I just want you to know that, yes, you have done it again.
Hey. Definitely. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow, instead, because if I try to go over 9 muscles weekly, it's going to take 9 weeks. So I would rather do it in 9 days. So over the next 8 days, I'm going to do each one. So if I'm not sure the time yet, I think I'm going to do 12 noon. And I'm going to go tomorrow. I'll do faith in myself muscle, and then I'll do your take action muscle. Then I know muscle, the honesty muscle, the say yes muscle. I'm so good at that one. The determination muscle, the forgiveness muscle, and your highest choice muscle. I am so grateful for Lisa Nichols and her thought processes, how she came up with some of this stuff, and all of it is in relation to her life. So I am happy to share it with you. If you want to follow along, you can get her book, no matter what. 9 Steps to Living a Life of Your Dreams. Somebody gave me this book in 2010 when I was going through my divorce. This is probably my 3rd one. I've given away so many of them in my life because of how amazing it is to be able to do this work and be able to still get to what you need to get to just by having a book like this. There's only one other book that came in my life like that since then, and that was this year with Glennon Doyle's Untamed, and that'll be something that I do later on. But these 2 books will absolutely change how you see everything.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
Awesome.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Darlene. Thank you very much. It was this book, The Grin says, I love life. Life loves me.
Like yes, I love life and life loves me. I love it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So you guys have a remarkable day. At the end of the day, take some of these tools, and I'm sure Darlene will have no problem in having you to have them at this point when you need them, right? But take them. And if you know somebody, like we all know people, and guess what? Work on you to just continue to take control of you.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, you will change everything around you. With that being said, thank you so much, Darlene. God bless. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place.
Absolutely.
Same station.
Bye for now.
Yes, sir.
Hello, social family on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Periscope. Hello, hello, hello. I hope this information was helpful to you. If it was, by all means, please leave me a comment. Let me know that you liked it, that you enjoyed it, and that you will be with me tomorrow when we talk about your faith in yourself muscle. All right, now, bye for now.